Nice.
Welcome to another episode of Foodie Confidential. My name is Jeff. I'm Screamin' J Pizza. Maybe I'll keep that because that's my name in my other show. I'm Screamin' J Pizza. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
So why not?
Yeah, why not? I'm Screamin' J Pizza, and this is Trevor. And it's just so I'm gonna call you Trevor Meatball. That's your name for now, Trevor Meatball.
That's fine.
Okay. I'm glad you like it. Trevor Meatball and Screamin' J Pizza here coming at you live. Foodie Confidential. Welcome to the show. We had a great episode yesterday. It was very well received. Like the whole internet is just like has not stopped talking about it and loves it. And so we're stoked about that. But today we have a new topic. Trevor has a list of topics. He sends me the topics and then we riff on them. This is a topic that I'm going to let Trevor really lead with the engine of this train. I'm just going to switch it over to him because I'm not a bartender. I've never been a bartender. I know all the stuff I know about bartenders from the POV of a server or from a floor manager. So I'm going to switch it over to Trevor, and or a barback. Actually, done barbacking. He will take over the topic about buybacks. Trevor, what is a buyback?
So a buyback essentially is a drink on the house. This one's on us, or the next one's on us. You know, whenever you hear that when you're at a bar, that could happen for a good customer. That could happen for a regular. That could happen for word of mouth from the owner to the bartender. And it's basically like a token of gratitude. You know what I mean? Like you come in all the time, you get an appetizer and an entree and your 3 beers. So if you're having 3 or if you're having 4, the last one's on us. That varies from restaurant to restaurant. I know a lot of places that are corporate don't allow that at all. And I know mom and pop restaurants are really, really about that because what does that beer cost? You know, maybe $1.80 max, sometimes more for, you know, what the restaurant's buying for it. And a customer that's spending money and keeps coming in. It's just like you care about us, we care about you kind of like deal. That's kind of like the discretion of the bartender as well. And like, you know, all our topics kind of go, you know, hand in hand with one another. This is a really good way for the bartender to basically like build a client basis. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I've never gotten the drink for free before, but this place and that bartender does. So I want to go see Joe on Thursday through Saturday because that's the bar that I want to go to because Joe takes care of me and I take care of Joe.
Can I interject here real quick?
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. So it's I didn't even know that much about a buyback, truly. And yeah, you're right. In all of the restaurants, generally buybacks in the corporate restaurants that I have worked for happen under the table, meaning that it's a relationship. You know, it's funny. There might even be a manager that like approves of it, but knows that it goes against corporate, you know, but they will still, you know, they'll turn a blind eye to it because they know that it's a healthy practice for a good relationship with regulars that are going to give you sales on slow days.
Absolutely. And now here, someone just said Miller's Ale House. Are you talking about the Miller's Ale House in Florida? Says, I hate Miller's Ale House. The Boynton Beach Miller's Ale House? I don't know if you could answer that question while we go. But yeah, you know, it's usually like a common ground, you know, source of knowledge that like, okay, a new bartender, this is what's allowed, this is what's not allowed. Now, there's also a lot of, I hate to say the word, but there's a lot of stealing. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stealing that comes into a restaurant. So there's a lot of times that I've seen, you know, under the owner's nose or under management's nose that like buybacks are a lot. Like, you know, when you do a lot in a night, that costs money. A few a night doesn't. I mean, it still costs money, but not as much as I've seen some people take advantage of that power because maybe all the cash goes through the bar. Servers have to, do their cash at the bar. It goes only under one number, depending on that. But a lot of, when
there has to be a ratio. The ratio has to be if somebody buys like 5 drinks or 4 drinks or 3 drinks, as you said, and then you do a buyback for 1 drink, then you're making, not only are they subsidizing their the buyback itself with their drinks, but they've also spent money on other drinks to cover overhead. Again, using the rule of threes that we spoke about last time, a really good restaurant for all things. I guess liquor might be a little bit different because you don't make really any profit on liquor. But for like food costs, like if you're selling an entree, you have to, good business model, you divide your cost by 3. A third is profit, a third is overhead, and a third is food costs.
But you do make money on liquor. You make a lot of money on liquor.
Okay.
Yeah, you make like, that's like a restaurant that has food, liquor, beer, and wine. Like, they're making most of their money on liquor.
Well, I think it also depends on the liquor. Maybe that's what I'm confusing. There's some stuff that they have to buy at cost. There's some stuff that they buy at cost and they sell at cost, and then there are other things that they have an upcharge.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think what you were trying to say is like, that bottle of Grey Goose that costs $48 for a liter, they have to charge, $12 to $14 a drink, and where you have the house specialty cocktails using well alcohol. Well alcohol basically means the cheapest alcohol. When you say vodka and you don't specify the brand, you're getting well. And that bottle of vodka, that's a liter, might cost like $10, and you're getting charged $8 for, an ounce.
Evan Williams. Evan Williams is like,
Evan Williams is like, it used to be like Jack Daniels, like, estranged nephew. Evan Williams is like actually like decent liquor now. Like, I see them like sponsoring sports events. Like, I see like Evan Williams in like the back of like the San Francisco Giants is like Megatron. It's weird. It's like, wow,
that surprises me.
But now here's the thing with the buybacks. I used to work in restaurants where it was really, really important that whether it is paid for or not, everything gets ran up for inventory purposes. Now, when you are ringing up, let's say 100 drinks and 5 of them were on the house. Now, when you do a liquor order and you do your numbers, you are able to see that everything is in place. Now, when you do like, you're doing like your liquor inventory, and it's like, okay, I rang up 100 Jack Daniels, 5 of them are comped, but there's 50 drinks unaccounted for, which could be potentially like a whole entire bottle. That's where usually poor management is not watching. That's when, because when you're at a bar, like, they're ringing up everything. And usually when you're a server, you have to ring up to get your drink, where the bartender at the end of the day does not. You know what I mean? Because
right. Well, it also depends. That also depends. Sorry to cut you off. That also depends on the relationship between the server and the bartender, or, there's small amounts. So there's 2 things to take a look at right now of what you're talking about. One, as I just said, rapport between bartender and server. Most times a bartender will send the server back and say, no, you got to ring that up because it's on the bartender's neck. But if you're cool with the bartender, depending on the situation, or if it's a messed up drink, or, a drink spills or something, they might just do a remake without re-ringing it in, especially if it's super busy and the manager is off elsewhere. Like, they can't do all the computations. It actually probably costs less money to just ring it up. I mean, just to make the drink again, when you think about all of the time that it might take to go through, it's just
definitely
quicker. Like, it might be the difference between getting a table out, however many minutes sooner, which then, it's this whole thing.
Yeah.
And the other thing, sorry, one last point. The other thing is, it's funny. There is, and Trevor can really elaborate on this way more than I can. there's this whole philosophy of, not philosophy, but like in bartending culture, you are prided by your ability to do a head count or an eye pour. And a head count is you count to 1, 2, 3, and you release the bottle to know how much alcohol you're putting in, or you're doing an eye pour. And, seasoned bartenders can go whoop, badoom, and they know exactly how much. It's like a pride thing. It's just like the same thing we were talking about memorizing.
Yeah.
You look really bad. You might even get tipped less money if they see you using something known as a jigger.
Yeah.
Jigger. And what that is, it's a little measuring cup that allows you to measure exactly 1 ounce of alcohol. And if you do that, you're not going to have any loss of booze.
Absolutely. Owners love when people use that because they're doing it to the decimal. I believe a 1 count is a half ounce pour. So 1, 2, 3 is a 1.5 ounce pour. That would be for a vodka soda, Jack Daniels and Coke. You do a 6 count, that's going to be a martini. And it's faster because, don't get me wrong, when you are pouring into that little vessel of 1.5 ounces, it actually takes just as much skill to not spill in that thing than it does to actually make the drink. And just back to what I was saying about the bartender being able to do pretty much whatever. If they're, they have money behind them. They have all the alcohol. They have all the experience to make a drink, to not make a drink. And I think what gets lost is that just because the bartender is able to give people buybacks, the server kind of gets a little like resentful at, like, I can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, I have to ring up everything. They get better tips than me because they're giving, their regulars a drink on the house every time they come in, or, you know what I mean? And I think what gets lost is that servers are able to go up to the manager and be like, these are really, really good customers. They loved everything. Can I buy them dessert? Can I get the next round of drinks on us? And I don't know. I guess people just don't understand, like, the ability to ask a question, to do something that's nice for a customer. The worst thing they could say is no. And if it's no, it's no. It is what it is. But
This is a very sort of subjective topic because, again, it all depends on where you're working. If you're coming from the corporate environment, where we've discussed this on previous episodes, there is no such thing as finite when it comes to resources. It's just about do whatever it takes to bring the person back. And to the extent that, what's interesting too, actually, I'm going to add this into what I'm about to say. It's about accessibility.
Yeah.
What is accessible? Do I need a manager to go and unlock this door to get this thing? Or is this something that I can get at any time for any reason?
Yeah.
A great example, if I see somebody I know, if they're a friend or whatever, and they order a Coke, I don't have to charge them for the Coke. It's there. It's the refill. You just do the thing.
Or like if you make the coffee and stuff like that too.
Coffee. Same thing with coffee. Same thing with ice cream. We used to have the ice cream was available. You can give them a bowl of ice cream. And you want to know something? Some manager might be a stickler. Most managers, at least where I was working, when I was a server, they did not care. In fact, they were like, this guy knows how to grease a wheel. This is good. We want this kind of person. Oh, they see me bringing soup. Again, anything you can help yourself to, whether you're eating it or that it becomes this thing, an extra bowl of white or brown rice. It's this thing of hospitality and, providing extra whatever is good service. And so most managers aren't going to care.
And also, to touch up on what you just said, the best thing to do when you have friends or family or a VIP guest or whatever it may be, instead of starting off the conversation of, all right, guys, welcome here, so good to see you, what are you getting for appetizers, and also choose an appetizer on us, that's on the house. In my experience, it's so much better to just send out something that they don't order, because you can actually control the cost and they're getting something that's on the house without even knowing. And it's a much better way to do things, because when you do say like, oh, guess what, guys, pick an appetizer on us. They might have not even were going to order an appetizer, and now they're going to pick an appetizer. Or, you know, if they're going to pay for the 3 expensive appetizers, now you can send them out the thing that they didn't order as a token of gratitude. And it's a really good way to control the cost and also do something nice for the customer. Saying desserts on us, I don't really like doing. I like seeing what they order for dessert and then send them something.
Right.
It's much better, because one, like I said, you're controlling what you're sending them instead of them being like, ooh, the $12 dessert. That's because that's what they're gonna do. Ooh, yeah, we want the $12 dessert because we weren't gonna order that. And now there's the flip side.
Wait, real quick, super quick. Additionally, this is when dead food, and we have to do a whole episode about dead food, but this is when dead food really comes in handy. A freshly dead appetizer that you don't want all your wait staff to pick at, like a bunch of like an angry, hungry pack of condors.
Mm-hmm.
You can repurpose and send out to
Absolutely.
another table. And again,
and what that means is what he's saying is like, let's say if someone double hit the calamari and it's like, oh shit, they only needed 1 calamari, send that other calamari to table 6.
right. It's already made. You don't want to waste the food. You're not going to throw. There are some restaurants and there are some managers, and I just want to punch them in the face when they do this. I've seen some managers, something was made by mistake. It's fresh. It's literally food, like sustenance, and they just make a point to throw it in the trash. And I literally want to just punch them in the face.
Yeah,
it's a waste. It's a waste of resources. And again, you don't want your hungry, hardworking staff to enjoy a fringe benefit in your restaurant. Fine, give it to a customer for free so that they will return again in the future. Don't be an idiot. Yes. Trying to set an example of how you guys can't always be helping yourself to dead food by throwing away. And usually you'll see like district managers and regional managers, they'll do that shit all the time. Yeah. And it's just so I just want to punch them.
It's a power move. It's a
total power move. And it's just so, but it's an insecure power move. It's so lame. It's like
I don't make mistakes, and that's why I'm in my position, but you guys are making mistakes, and this is what happens.
It's just so stupid to me. It's so dumb for so many reasons. And again, or it could be an allergy thing. There's so many reasons why something ends up dead. And then, you know, you just give it to someone else. You know, you bring it out to the table and you just say, you know, a table that you've been having a good rapport with the whole service. And you go, hey, here's you guys like shrimp? Everybody okay? Nobody has an allergy? Here, have this. Boom.
Now there's a flip side to this. And it really depends on the customer's just personality and just the way they are. I worked in a restaurant down in Florida, and the owners were there pretty much every single night. But they great owners. The husband expedited the food, and the wife was the hostess pretty much. And they ran a really, really tight ship, really, really good restaurant, and it was fun to work for them. Now, when the owners are there every single day and customers come once in a blue moon and they see the customers and they talk to the owners, now all of a sudden they know the owners. Okay. And they knowing the owners doesn't mean they actually know the owners. What's their kids' names? Where do they live? What do they do for fun? No, you just come into the restaurant. They say, hey, how are you? Like they're doing to every other table. Now, they also slowly but surely build a relationship as they keep frequently coming to the restaurant, and that might have the owners say like, hey, Mark and Joanne are here, get them around, get their first round of drinks on us. That's a buyback essentially. And I've had it where these people have gotten very, very comfortable and very, very entitled, and they have actually said, oh, the first drinks are usually on the owners, you know, and I'm not going to say their names, but their first drinks are usually on the owners. And
that's uncomfortable.
And it got to a point where
that sets a precedent, man.
And exactly. And it got to the point where these people always expected one round of drinks on the owners. They were a couple.
Yeah.
And they were fine with it. They were fine. The owners were like, we built this monster. It is what it is. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, they set the precedent. Yep.
They're already going to buy four rounds of drinks, and one round of drinks on us is the right thing to
Right. They
do.
wanted ahead instead of doing the buyback after. They want to be fronted their buyback
So
ahead of time.
now these people were vultures. Now they start coming for happy hour, right?
Oh my God.
Our happy hour deal was buy one get one free. So your first round of drinks you pay for, the second round of drinks are free. The next round of drinks you pay for, the second round of drinks are free. These people had the audacity to basically say, we got 4 happy hour drinks, so that means that we pay for 2 and the other 2 are free, but the owners also give us a round of drinks, so therefore we only pay for 1 drink and we get 3 for free, which was like when these
So
people
they're doing math. They're doing math
absolutely.
to
And when they actually said this, I looked at the bartender, I went to the owners, I go, dude, you got to see what these people are trying to pull right now. And he's like, are you fucking kidding me? You're getting free drinks at happy hour, and now you want a free drink from me as well with your fucking discount? Like, and
wait.
that's what
Who said that? Who said that?
the owner.
Oh, the owner said that.
He's saying it to me. He's saying it to me. He's not saying it to the customer.
Yeah.
This is what he wants to say to the customer, but he's saying it through me. And that's what happens sometimes. Whenever I would go to a bar or a frequent restaurant, I would always get a round of drink because I spent money on drinks. I spent
Right.
money on food. And whenever I came in, I always tipped well. So therefore, the appreciation was always sent back to me. I never, ever, ever go into a restaurant and expect something for free, ever. Even a friends and family restaurant,
That's right.
I don't want a friends and family discount. But if I get it, it is what it is, and I'm not gonna embarrass anyone and say like, no, don't do that. I'm gonna make it up in a different way, whether it's coming back, whether it's an extra
Yeah.
tip, but
Exactly.
the free things. When your friend or your family has a business, and it doesn't need to be a restaurant, it could be Marina's Paw Pad, it could be the local plumber, anything. Why do you want to take advantage of someone that you know? And don't get me wrong, some people just do it out of the gracious of their heart, saying, it's $100 job, but all I need is $50 from you. You know what I mean? But when I have friends, when I have families, I want their businesses to succeed. I want to pay full price, if not more. And don't get me wrong, it's always good, getting a friend to do a job that will be cheaper than another person and still do the great job, or whether it's a restaurant and everything. But like, I
Right.
don't. I'm on the flip side where I get a lot of things, discounted or for free because I know a lot of people. But like, I want to pay full price. That my intentions are to pay full price every single time. I don't. A lot of people I know go to their friends' restaurants because they get 20% off. Oh, that's a friends and family guy. Give him 20% off. Give him 20% off. Give him 20% off, and they take advantage of that kind of stuff. And it's just annoying to see.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, it's it's taking advantage of generosity. It's very much, this is very much like a culture of this restaurant culture we're talking about of patrons and proprietors is a culture of unspoken generosity. You don't ever you do not communicate verbally about these things the way that couple communicated verbally. You just do. There's only action. So they buy a drink on the house, and you might show your appreciation by maybe spending a little bit more next time, or coming back again and spending the same amount, or by leaving a nice tip for a server. If I was being the manager, the floor manager, and we were hooking up, a table, I would always inquire out of curiosity for, again, because it's kind of like you're doing R&D, research and development, every time you're waiting a table. It's like you end up becoming like what's it called? Those anthropologists. What is that word? I'm butchering it. Yeah, where you're studying.
Yeah, here's a quick story of my sister. my sister actually texted me because she didn't know what to do, and I was really happy to be there for her to make sure she did the right thing. So she went to my buddy's restaurant in White Plains. I'm going to shout it out right now. Pax Romano. Pax Romano in White Plains is
It's gone. It's dead.
No, they moved. No, they closed the old location and just moved up the street to a little bit of a smaller location.
Good for them. I'm glad to hear that.
And they're doing really, really well.
Great.
Italian. I don't want to use the word gastropub because it's not. It's really, really, really awesome Italian food. Does it start doing gastro food there? They do their pizzas that are like different. They use they use pizza crust, which is like an old school Roman way, and then they make their own pasta, which is absolutely phenomenal.
I gotta go there. Holy crap!
I go there all the time for pasta, and then they have bambolinis, which are powdered donuts filled with Nutella. It's so good.
Oh my god, that's my wife. Like, this is my wife's food. Like, I have to take her there. She will love it.
Yeah, and the owner's Paul Russo, great guy. You know, works his ass off, and the whole entire way they run the restaurant is phenomenal. So my sister's there, right? And she mentions my name, which I hate when she does. But she goes, I'm Trevor's sister, blah 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 blah. And he goes, oh, that's awesome, blah 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 blah. And they're eating the food, and they have a few glasses of wine, and then they pay their bill. Okay, they pay their bill. They tip, it's done, the bill's taken away. And then Paul came out with 2 extra glasses of wine saying, hey, I'm so sorry, I was busy, but these are on me. So she texted me saying, hey, I already paid my bill, I already tipped, I used a card, and he just gave me and my friend a glass of wine on the house. What do I do? I go, do you have any cash? She goes, yeah, I have some cash. I go, just leave a $20 bill on. You know, leave another 20 or $10, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Just because, like, you weren't expecting it. He did something generous, and now you just have to reciprocate it or not. But, you know, in my opinion, to pay the bill, tip, and then get something while you're about to leave, to throw a 5, to throw a 10, to throw a 20, whatever you can do is a nice way because you weren't expecting that. You were about to leave, and then you got, you know, another glass of wine on the house.
Yeah, but is it who's going to get that tip? Is it the server who's going to get that tip, or is that just go to the house?
Server, okay. wherever they were sitting.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, I've never. I don't know about you. When I was a manager, I would sometimes get like slipped, you know, 20s to 100s, for taking care of them. Whether it's like getting a really nice table or sneaking them in for a reservation when we were overbooked. But I've never taken a tip from, you know, a server or a bartender after like service is completed. You know what I mean? I've never,
I don't think I've ever been tipped in that kind of way, period. That's always, you most certainly do not do that that is just like the biggest no.
I would get tipped after sometimes, like, hey, that was a really, really amazing dinner. Thank you so much. And like, I'd get $40. I'd give it right back to the server. Had to.
Good. That's the way it should be. For us, it was more like, leave a feedback card, call, send an email to the corporate office and let them know that you had a good time. You know, when you get those corporate compliments, and that's what's so interesting about this kind of work. If you do really well at your job in hospitality and as a server, bartender, whatever, whether it's a mom and pop spot or not, if you are the type of person that has to take off from your job, you can ensure job security of being able to get taken on and off the schedule. I would leave for long periods of time from my job when I needed to, like months at a time. When I had to like go overseas or whatever, I could leave and come back. I never, ever once worried in 7 years. I never once worried about not coming back to a full, 30 to 40 hour work week.
Absolutely. I was just talking about this with someone. If you are good at your job and you make yourself non-replaceable, I mean, of course, you could always replace someone.
Everybody's replaceable. No, everybody's replaceable, dude.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
No. Here's where
You could
here's where
always replace someone. You cannot replace work ethic and personality.
Right. That's why that's what I mean. Like restaurants will go out of their way to spitefully replace someone and hurt themselves terribly in the process, but will do so out of pride of like, just remember you're replaceable and we can always find someone, even if they suck. And your restaurant starts to hurt for that reason. They'll still replace you.
You have no idea how hard it is when you have the best busser or the best food runner for 5 years at a restaurant, and they are for some reason leaving the restaurant and find someone that can do what they used to do, whether it's side work, whether it's carrying 5 plates, whether it's knowing seat numbers, whether it's, seeing a table that needs a fork and knife and they just immediately know because the server's busy to get that fork and knife without even telling them to do it.
Those are good people. Those are the best. The best.
I've worked with 3. I will always remember them. 3 of the best bussers I've ever dealt with in my life, and it's impossible to find them.
And you know what's funny too is that those are not hospitality or restaurant skills. Those are common sense skills. Like
is God.
Yeah, but what's interesting is you always hear this phrase, but I think it's so true. Like everyone should work in hospitality or restaurants to get certain life skills. There are some people, like a great example. I went into a office desk job after working in restaurants and switching over to a office culture from a restaurant culture was a ginormous culture shock that I was not prepared for. And even though I stayed where I was for almost, a little bit more than 3 years, just over 3 years.
Do they say go fuck yourself and fuck you and you're a piece of shit in an office setting?
There's for instance, I'll never forget how about this, Trevor? This will blow your mind. I'll never forget, I had an, as you know, Trevor, that I had an acrimonious relationship with my boss, and it was horrible. And I was miserable at this job, at this desk job. She wrote emails to me in all caps letters, and I told my coworkers that. My 2 coworkers who have always done office jobs, and they went, "Oh!" And I went, "What's the problem?" And they're like, "She really wrote to you in caps lock?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "That's like yelling." I'm like, "What?" They're like, "Yeah, that's yelling. That's yelling in an email. That's super passive aggressive." And I'm going, "It is?" Like I had no idea.
Yeah, you're used to Jeff. Go fuck yourself. You're a piece of shit.
But that's what's so funny is that then I started to become hypersensitive to it because that's how I imagine it. And I'm going, they're like starting to tell me. And then I learned, I was like, wait a minute. They're like, you have rights in an office culture that you don't have in hospitality. There are rights. Like you cannot be treated a certain ways. It's like against HR. And it just so happens the place that I worked didn't have a human resources person. My boss was the human resource person. You never want your boss and the human resources person to be the same person. Unfortunately, it's like that in restaurants as well. But restaurants operate under a different sort of dynamic and hierarchy where you don't need it's different. But at the same time, I just found it fascinating that it was funny. And then the other thing is there are certain things that I would do, trying to anticipate needs and then be told no, always check with me for every little thing, which is like the opposite of what you want in a restaurant. You want someone who is going to intuitively know how to handle the situation to the best of their ability and what to do, because you can't have eyes all over the restaurant.
Of course. I mean, it should be common sense. Like, shit, I just spilled wine on this person. What do I do? Replace it. Replace it as fast as you can. Offer dry cleaning. Or
not run and come and check with me.
Yeah, hey, just so you know, I just spilled wine on someone. What do I do? The fuck out of my face. What do I do? You know what I mean? Like
handle it, man. Handle it.
But people, you have to be weathered for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
you do.
Experience definitely happens. Like this person's being a POS, and they don't like anything. What do I do?
Right.
I go get something else. You know what I mean? And then once the whole, I mean, if it's something that's going to cost the restaurant money, at the end of the day, like then go up to your manager or the owner
Right.
and just say like, hey, like this is what happened. Is it okay if you take this off and this off? And then
Right.
you explain the situation and you go. But like in the moment of things, there's a lot of people that don't realize that you can handle it really, really quickly if you just know. Why are people allowed to drive and park at a bar?
I don't know, Noodles. Noodles. It's one of life's mysteries, man. It's one of life's mysteries. And then at the same time, I've had managers that have been really stoked when I come up to them and I go, hey, look at this, look at this lo mein. This doesn't look right, right? Like
Absolutely.
it's not like this looks really skimpy on the there's not enough shredded beef in this lo mein. Could I get him to make some more?
Especially
And he'll be like,
especially when you hate the chef and you want him to fucking go. Like, hey,
That's
this
right.
guy doesn't know shit. What the hell is this guy doing? But
thank you, Noodles. We're big fans of you too.
yeah, it's this episode was, I hope, very, very informative because
They all are.
even if you aren't in the restaurant business, like when you get something for free, just know that you're not the only person in the world that gets something for free. And that doesn't mean that you have to change your whole entire persona when you come back to a restaurant and expect something else for free, because they might not even remember you. You know what I mean? They see a lot of people throughout the day. I don't know. I think like what we're trying to do is just turn our people to be able to behave. That's really it.
Noodles drinks with Bobby Steele and Teaneck. I don't think does Bobby Steele. I don't think Bobby Steele lives in Teaneck anymore. Bobby Steele lives on a boat, and I think he sold the new Milford house that is where he grew up, where Postmortem Records is. Noodles. So I'm not sure. Did you used to drink with Bobby Steele? Is that what you're saying? Bobby Steele's a guitar player, Trevor, from a band that Noodles and I are both a fan of, which is why he's saying that. But listen, we got to wrap up this episode. I got to jam out of here. Another great episode. Trevor, you let me know what our topic is for next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. But most of all, I guess he goes to the old Wigamom in Teaneck. That's cool. My mom's from Teaneck. Matter of fact, my mom was in the same, I believe my mom was in the same high school as Bobby Steele. I always used to ask her, did you know Robert Calford? And she says she did not. In any case, thank you so much for joining. Trevor and I will be back next week with another topic. Peace and hair grease.